Now, it's a miracle that I've made so little videos on Super Mario Odyssey. It's an amazing game after all, and it's still incredibly popular. So after waiting for so long, I think it's about time to finally talk about all the different places we visit during the game. Because let's be honest, this Super Mario title is all about traveling and experiencing new cultures and settings, while also exploring every nook and cranny of these places in order to find all the well-hidden and obvious power moons. So let's have a look at my top 5 kingdoms from the game. Because to be honest, when this game came out, I was instantly impressed by them. And just to be clear, I will mostly judge them on the following points: the design and vibe, mechanics, and overall missions. Now let's get into it. Number 5. Behind the mists of time is an island hidden away from the rest of the world. A place where the strangest creatures in the world can be found. Many dangers lay ahead, and ancient secrets are kept. The Lost Kingdom. This is the 7th world visited in the game and is also known as the Forgotten Isle. And it's a strange island surrounded by poisoned water. Mario ends up here after defeating Bowser in the Cloud Kingdom, who orders his airship to shoot cannonballs at Mario, and when he gets hit, it results in a crash landing in this kingdom. Thanks to this, he and Cappy are forced to explore the island and collect at least 10 power moons in order to repair the ship and leave. So in general, this is quite a small world with not too many hidden moons. However, still enough to entertain you for a while. Because aside from the fact that the place looks stunning with all its jungle concepts and colorful designs, there are also a lot of cool mechanics involving the weird enemies found here. In my opinion, the alternate version of the Wiggler scene here is probably the best example out of all of them, because the concept works so incredibly well. They move by stretching their bodies outward before contracting again, being similar to an accordion, even making similar sounds to them. And they often do this across pathways, making them both a platforming hazard and also useful to get to certain places as soon as you capture one. To be honest, I love this. It's so much fun to mess around with one of these creatures, as well as many others like the Glydon and explosive beetles. And what I also like about this place is that all the water is poisonous to you. It makes the level so much harder and a lot of the enemies way more useful. While it's overall a small world, it's filled to the brim with action and things to do and see. So the best way to describe it is short but extremely sweet. Number 4. Now our next kingdom is also quite unknown to the rest of the world, being a relic of the past with treasure. The Cascade Kingdom, a world that reminds me a lot of the Jurassic Park movies, but more colorful and lively. Now I have to mention the main landmark of this place. It's the waterfall flowing down from the skeleton of a Triceratops, and I gotta say, it looks quite stunning. This is for sure one of the most beautiful places in the entirety of Super Mario Odyssey. There isn't a landmark prettier than this one. But it isn't the only thing that makes it a fun world to go through and experience. It also has some amazing things for the player to do. Good examples of this are the T-Rexes, which must be used in smaller isolated levels as well as the main area, the wall that you climb using the amazing 2D transition mechanic, and the fun boss battle at the end of it. Also, I did a whole video on that 2D mechanic I just mentioned, so check that out after this video if you want. It's pretty darn good. But regardless of that, this place is a good start for the game. And also shows off some really cool mechanics Nintendo has come up with. Even when you come back later, there's a lot to see and explore, making it enjoyable down the road as well. So in my opinion, this was certainly a good start for Super Mario Odyssey, since this is the first world where you get to really explore a bit after all. And it does a pretty good job at it. Number 3. Now for our next one, I don't have any elaborate opening, and that's because it doesn't really need it. The world itself is already straightforward, and quite quickly you see where you need to go, and even can go. I'm of course talking about the Sand Kingdom, a barren wasteland with some special landmarks here and there, and surprisingly colorful and cheerful inhabitants. Now, this level isn't very exciting design-wise. Sure, it's not ugly, but it also doesn't have a lot going for itself, to be honest. However, when it comes to the gameplay, there's an insane amount of stuff to do and also enjoy, with 3 things and places being the clear highlights. First of all, the tower. Working your way up this thing is just tons of fun, combining both the 3D and 2D platforming of the game extremely well, with the climb along the tower wall being the highlight for sure. Then after that you go to the next platforming gem, the inverted pyramid. Here we see a concept that's similar to what we saw at the tower, but this time turned up to 11, while also taking the bullet bill capture concept and using it a lot more. It was rarely used before that after all. And then we get to the last treasure of this world, the 2 boss fights with the broodals and Knuckleotech, which are great combat challenges that also use some of the mechanics seen in the earlier levels like the tower and pyramid. Clearly it has a lot to offer. Sure, it isn't the nicest looking world, but it certainly offers tons when it comes to gameplay. Number 2. Cooking, one of my favorite hobbies outside of video games and some casual engineering. And of course, Nintendo made a world based around this, also known as the Luncheon Kingdom, which is inspired by Italy and food themes, which you notice quite quickly. And one thing I like about this place is its design. Personally, I think polygons look amazing in a lot of stuff. And since this whole kingdom is made out of them, in all kinds of crazy colors, I immediately fell in love with it. Just look at all those wacky colors and the transitions on the mountain and the stones going to different kinds of even weirder colors. I mean, I'm colorblind, but I'm really happy I can still see stuff like this for the most part because it's truly stunning, even though I can't always see it that well. It is the best looking world in the game for sure. Well, according to me, but there's more than just pretty shapes and colors, because this world also introduced some amazing gameplay elements. Mostly a fun new way to get around, and a new platforming concept. Now what I'm talking about are the lava bubbles and the new pink goop you can surf through, and the forks you can become and use to catapult yourself up. The first is just a crazy new way of going through the levels, also allowing you to go fast, which is usually not the case when going through some sort of liquid in a Mario game. In most games you're really slow or need to avoid it for some reason, but in this world you're going incredibly fast and can maneuver even. And when it comes to the forks, you can use those to get up obstacles incredibly fast. And if you're good at it, you can go from one to the other really fast, and also effectively, which can be extremely satisfying to do. And as soon as you get up to the mountain in this world, you get one of the weirdest boss fights in the game, which focuses on the lava bubble mechanic, being one of the most unique and still challenging fights in Super Mario Odyssey. Number 1. Now we can finally talk about the best kingdom, and we all know which one it is. I mean, come on, it's like almost everyone's favorite, New Donk City, which is obviously based on New York City. Alright, let's cut to the chase. Why do I love this kingdom? Almost everyone likes it, but why is it my favorite? Well, first of all, its introduction. The first mission in this world is just amazing! Starting off with a tense segment where you need to fight your way through New Donk City in an extremely dark and depressing setting. And then you have to use the tank, which is one of the most fun foes to use in the game, in order to beat a gigantic mechanical wiggler. This was already amazing, and quite crazy. And guess what? This world has so much more to offer, like great main missions, and also a ton of hidden stuff, all being quite cleverly hidden among the buildings and in nooks and crannies of the city, making it action-packed. This world is quite small after all, but since there's so much in this place to see, every inch of it holds something to see, get, or do. There isn't any part of this level that's empty or boring. It's quite a miracle that they made it the perfect size in order to get this effect actually. So the only category it loses in is in design. But don't get me wrong, it still looks freaking great. But the Luncheon Kingdom is just a teeny tiny bit better. And now you all know which kingdoms are my absolute favorites. And just think about it. All the worlds that I just mentioned on this list become even better as soon as you finish the game. Because then you can unlock the bonus moons. Just break the moon rocks and there's a lot more to enjoy. So most of us will be busy for quite a while before we're done with all of them. And just like everyone else, I am putting the Metro Kingdom on number 1.
It's time to jump up in the